How did Kawhi pull Paul George away from OKC? At what point did he finally connect with him and get an answer that gained some traction in the process?
Well, it almost feels like the free agency was kind of like an episode of The Bachelor, right? Where you're going on multiple dates with multiple people at the same time. So what was interesting about Kawhi's free agency, which we haven't seen in a couple of years, usually lately free agents have just been kind of deciding on July 1st, and that's it. There's not really much recruitment. But in Kawhi's case, he was meeting with the Clippers on Monday night. He was meeting with the Lakers on Tuesday afternoon, about 12:30 out at the Four Seasons in Westlake. And it appears he met with Paul George on the same day he was meeting with the Lakers. And Paul lives in Los Angeles, out in the same kind of area as Westlake Village. He lives in Calabasas, out in that general area. And then on Wednesday, Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, as we all saw on the footage, he flew to Toronto and hung out there for a couple of days. And so I think what was interesting about the whole story is, like, I don't feel like I knew Kawhi. I don't feel like any of us really know him. We know him as a basketball player and how incredible he was during the playoffs for the Raptors. But personally, I guess I just didn't know he had that in him to be recruiting Paul George away from the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's one thing to like call somebody and see if he'll play with you, because that was the first hint that he was after a second star with the Clippers, is when he actually called Kevin Durant before free agency began and to ask if he'd be interested in going to the Clippers with him. And that didn't go very far because Durant was already pretty far down the road thinking he was going to go to Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan. But the idea that Kawhi is a recruiter, like, who knew that?
I know.
Who knew that was something that he was into? Yeah.
That's what we were saying on the show here yesterday. Is who knew Boardman was chairman of the Boardman? And in terms of Durant and also even Jimmy Butler, I mean, they're fellow unrestricted free agents. That makes sense. Paul George is deep under contract. Yeah. And also, as I mentioned here yesterday, the model that Toronto was supposedly following, which is get the guy who you wouldn't normally think would come to your town, have him stay there for a year, let him see what it's like to be there, let him see what our organization and fan base and city's like. And Paul George did see that with Oklahoma City and stayed. And Kawhi did that in Toronto. It was the ultimate success. He wins it all there. And of all people to call and get to team up in Los Angeles, where George didn't come when he had a chance for LeBron to team up with, it's amazing. Nobody saw this thing coming.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download The Rich Eisen Show app.